And now the first thing we're starting with are the jambs. It's a 2x6 and we're ripping it down to 5 1/4 to make sure everything is the same size.
Once the jambs have been cut down to size, next step is we're going to run them through the planer. And when they're all said and done, they come up to about 1 1/4 inches thick, so it seems to be working good.
Now for our sill, which is the bottom piece of the window, we always want that to drain for water. So we're taking a 2x8, we're ripping it twice at a 10° to get our proper drainage.
So for our sash material now, we're starting with a 5/4 board. We're going to run those through the planer on the faces because we want to do about a 2-inch sash.
And then after they're all cleaned up, you actually take 2 pieces and glue them together. Now the last step on the sill is actually to create a couple ears. Now to create an ear, we basically rip it horizontally along the piece, and then we take and connect the board from back to front, and we take our hand saw and finish it up.
You know, a lot of times the bottom sill is kind of dadoed into the side of the jamb. So we're going to do that too, except we're going to do a garage style. We're going to take a skill saw and set the depth like 1/4 or 3/8 inch thick, and we'll just run a bunch of passes through on the side of the jamb, clear out all the material, and that'll create our dado.
Okay, now the final assembly for the window frame. I've already got our 2 side jambs and the top jam screwed together, and now I'm going to start working here on the sill. What we're going to do is just slide the sill now down into the 2 dados, get the pieces fitting nice and tight, and then we can make our final screw connections, making sure that everything's exactly where we want it in place.
Now remember the pieces that we glued together for the window sash. So next what we want to do is we want to create a little groove in these to receive our glass. And to do that, we're going to run them through the table saw. Once we get all our grooves cut through our sash pieces, we're going to take them over to the assembly line and we're going to cut them all for length, screw them all together, and they'll create our sash. So now that all the sashes are fully assembled and put into the window frame, I'm just going to take these stops I made, put them on the outside of the window, nail them in.
Okay, that should stay there. Okay, so in the meantime, we got the windows all painted up. What we used for that was an exterior semi-gloss enamel. This is a primer and paint in one, so it makes it very easy to work with. We did a custom color that I think does a pretty nice job coordinating what's going on with the roof. Now realize we built the openings for the windows and the windows themselves, so everything ought to just slide in perfectly without a lot of slop on the top, bottoms, and sides. So let's see how it all works out.
Installation of these windows are basically pretty easy. Per each window you have 3 guys, 2 ladders, and about 8 screws.
You okay, Dean?
Yep. Because these windows are basically a fixed window, we're going to install them from the outside with 2 guys. We'll walk it up the ladder carefully, put it in the opening.
Can you tip it out, Tommy?
Make sure it's centered in the opening, and then Buck will be on the inside pre-drilling through the stops and using 3.5-inch screws to fasten it to the sides and to the top.
Then to finish out the windows after we install them, we're just going to take some 1x trim, which we've already painted, rip it down to the right width, cut it for lengths, put our 3 pieces on all the way around the window, nail it in with some brads, and that's about all there is to that.
Well, we thought it'd be interesting to show you what's involved in making your own windows. Now, of course, these don't operate. They could. That'd be a lot more work. And they don't have insulated glass, low-E glass. I mean, they don't have the energy requirements even close to what windows are today that we put in most of our houses. But one thing you have to admit, they really look like they belong here on the building. And building these, it's a fraction of the cost of what it would be to put in modern windows today.